Chris, as nice as it is to be in big league camp, is there a certain sense of, all right, good, now I can really get started on getting ready for this season now that you've moved over to the other side?
Yeah, when we had our meeting, whenever I got moved down, that's pretty much what they told me. They said, we have a lot of guys in camp, and you're not going to be able to get your innings in unless you go to minor league camp. And completely on board with that, because I want to get work in, I want to get better, and that way, hopefully, at some point, I can help out the team.
Right. It's not like this wasn't an organization or a situation where you thought, well, maybe I have a chance at winning a job. So you knew this was going to happen sooner rather than later. So why not have it sooner so you're really prepared for the start of that season in Durham?
Exactly. They want us to be built up to 6 innings, around 100 pitches, and there was no way that 9 or 10 starters can do that in big league camp. So I get down here and get some quality work in.
And I know you've only been with the organization for a year, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that they don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call Durham when the need arises. And even with the depth of the pitching, it's bound to happen, right?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, you just watch and see how Cobb and Moore and even Torres got an opportunity at the end of last season. It excites you, and it lets you know that when you're ready, they'll give you an opportunity.
I know you want to look ahead to the coming season, but I just want to now that you've had the off season to look back last year, what happened the first half of the season for you in terms of were there any particular reasons for the struggles you had?
I think I was just trying to do too much. Got out of my character, got out of my game plan, and tried to do too much to impress people and kind of prove that I was ready to advance. And I let that carry on for about 2.5 months, and then when I got back within myself, I started to do a little bit better. Obviously not to my maximum potential, but I started to do a lot better and ended up getting an opportunity to pitch in Triple-A a couple times.
And finished off very strong. So with all the ups and downs, you had to finish well. Must have been a good, okay, rather finish well than start well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you want to do pretty well the whole season, but with the way it was going at the beginning, I was definitely happy with how I finished, and went to the off season and continued to build on how I finished up last season.
How much of the trying to do too much was trying to prove that you should advance, and how much of it was trying to prove that you were worth being traded for Matt Garza?
The trade thing didn't affect me. I mean, because I didn't really think about that at all. I tried to move up too fast. I got a little ahead of myself and thought that I could really help the team at last season at some point, and just tried to do too much. Tried to hit every corner and throw nasty sliders and change-ups. In reality, I can hit a bit more of the plate because my stuff plays in the zone pretty well.
You're a guy who I know you've probably heard over the course of your career, some people say, well, maybe he'll be a reliever long-term, or even short-term, if we shorten him up, maybe he'll be able to help sooner. How pleased are you that the Rays definitely feel dedicated and committed to you continuing to develop as a starter?
It's awesome. Starting pitching is a very big commodity, and to be continue to still be a starter, that means they have a lot of confidence in what I can do, and I want to start, so I'm definitely happy about that.
I would think in this organization, on the one hand, they promote from within, they use a lot of young players on the other, especially the pitching staff. It's so deep. Do you have to balance that out a little bit, or do you see the Matt Moores, the Jeremy Hellicksons, and those guys getting up, that knowing that the way things tend to work out here, if you do your job, that opportunity is going to come eventually?
Yeah, I think it's all about big picture thinking. If you think short term and think about this season or next season, you'll kind of get caught up a little bit. But if you look 5-6 years down the road, they know what they're doing. And if it's an extra half season, extra season in the minor leagues, you know that your best interests are in their minds. So you just it's best just to roll with it, because they definitely know what they're doing.
Last question for you. Looking back on last year and everything, I mean, how much takeaway do you get from that, and how much do you want to just turn the page? I know every bit of adversity can be a learning experience, but is there a point in time like, all right, I can't dwell, but I also have to make sure that I don't get back to that place?
Yeah, I learned a lot from last season through my struggles, and so whenever I get to a point to where my delivery's a little off, or mentally I'm a little off, I can just snap back and think, hey, where did I finish up last year? Where was my mindset last year? Where was my delivery last year? And I just use last year as a reference point as to when things are going bad or not going how I want them to go. I just think back, okay, I've been here before. I've been a little erratic before and gotten out of jams, or I've had a couple bad starts in a row, and how do I fix it? I know how to fix it. So, and for me, mainly it's mental, because my stuff is the same. You know, it's probably gotten a little better in the off season or as last season progressed. So all it is mental and just knowing where you're at.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.